Salve and welcome to Acroasis XVI, or video 16. Today we're going to be talking about possum, posse, and potui, which is another irregular verb, which is how we say in Latin can and will be able. So first, let's take a look at this word, possum, posse, potui. It's an irregular verb. That means it doesn't follow the normal pattern. So instead, it's actually going to follow the conjugations of sum, esse, fui, and futurum. And you can even see how sum is at the end of possum as well. So essentially, we're going to have sum with pos or pot in front of it. So let's take a look at another review. What is the present tense of sum? Sum as s, sumus estis sunt. We have gone over this a couple times, so you guys should be very familiar with this. Now, with possum, the rule is essentially that we're going to use the present tense of sum and as the ending, but the beginning is either going to be pot or pos for the verb. So when it starts with an e, it's going to be pot. When the sum starts with an s, it's going to be pos. So when you have es, est, or estis, it's going to be pot in front. And when you have sum, sunt, and sumus, it's going to be pos in front. So let's take a look at how that looks. Possum, potes, potest, possumus, potestis, possunt. So essentially you've got three of each. When there's an e, use a t. That's essentially how you can remember it. Now let's try and looking at another tense. Again, imperfect of sum is still going to be how possum conjugates. So when you have eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant, which we learned previously, now you know how to say the past tense. Notice how all of them begin with e. That means what prefix are you going to use? You're going to use the pot prefix. So when you see it with imperfect, again, remember because the imperfect of sum starts with an e, eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant, you're going to use the prefix pot instead of pos, because remember we only use pos for s. So to say I was able, or you were able, or he, she, it was able, you're going to use pot eram, pot eras, and pot erat. Now let's review the last one that we've learned. The future tense of sum. Ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritis, and erant. These are all, again, starting with the letter E, so the prefix we're going to use is going to be pot. So possum, posse, potui is going to use the future when it's in future, and it's going to use pot because we start with an E, ero, eris, erit, right? So potero, poteris, poterit. I will be able, you will be able, and he, she, it will be able. Now possum also likes to work with infinitives. So when you have words, the word possum, posse, potui, I can or I am able, normally you're trying to say I am able to do something or I am able to be something. So much like debeo, debere, debui, debitum, to owe, ought, must, should, would, this infinitive works with possum and translates directly afterwards. This is called a complementary infinitive. So possum amare, much like debeo amare, I ought to love, possum amare would be I can love or I'm able to love. So let's try some sententiae. For this, I'd like you to pause after each one. Then I would like you to try and translate each sentence on your own and resume the video when you're ready. So let's try the first sentence. Cras cum amicis cenare potero. Again, look at the ending of the verb possum. See how it's ending in ero? Now think what tense of sum is ero, and that will tell you what tense of possum you're dealing with, and that'll also tell you how to translate possum correctly. The answer is tomorrow I will be able to dine with friends. Potero ends in ero, which is the future tense of sum. So I will be able, as opposed to I was able or I am able. The next one, heri deus in caelo manere poterat. Again, look at the end of possum. You have poterat. Erat is what tense of sum, and knowing what tense of sum that is will tell you what tense the verb is. The answer, yesterday the god was able to remain in heaven or in the sky. Now let's take a look at the last one. Molti libri me satiare possunt. Now take a look at the end of possunt. Possunt ends in sunt, which means that it's using which tense of sum. And knowing which tense of sum that is will tell you what tense possunt is. The answer, many books are able to satisfy or sate me, or many books can satisfy or sate me. That's the end of this Acroasis. I hope Possum has become a little bit more clear to you. We'll be using it a lot in class and in translation, so I'm sure you'll get quite familiar with it. Remember to fill out your Google form, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask them in the form or in class tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Valete omnes.